So I think a lot of people have questioned, I'm just trying to keep this kind of generic for our listeners out there who are familiar with NIL, but maybe aren't sure exactly what it entails. You hear about some of these deals, say, for instance, Miami, where they were recruiting a player and literally couldn't deliver on what was supposed to be a $10, $11 million NIL deal. Then you hear about the $8 million deal that my alma mater, the Collective Spire, put together for Nico Iamaleava, which I still struggle to say.
That's really good, by the way. You did a good job.
I try. He's from California, and he's going to my school, so I wish I knew how to say Nico's last name a little bit better. But that's a real deal, right? So this is $8 million that was actually started getting paid while he was still in high school. California is one of the states where you can start paying kids when they're in school, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's a long-term deal. It's a 3 or 4 year deal. Now, what we're hearing now on the street is the days of the $1 million quarterback are over. Even at the college level, they will be rare. And so, I don't think you're going to see many of those going forward. But
why is that, Shannon?
Well, I think what you're finding is that the collectives, which are responsible for this roster value, they're run by entrepreneurs and business owners and highly successful people, that necessarily don't come from the academia background. And so, they want a good return on investment. And so there's only so much money. I keep hearing this, unlimited salary cap. It's not true. There's only so much money to go around. And what we're seeing is that the roster management of the schools working through the collectives is getting more efficient. So that money's actually going less to recruits. That number's, I think, going to be around 10% this upcoming year. It was 14% last year. And you're going to see more money going for kids to come back. And you're going to continue to see a lot more money go to the transfer portal. That's what we're seeing now.
So basically what you're saying is, I'm equating this to, let's just say an NFL, let's say an NBA owner who is paying a luxury tax. He's going over. He's paying for 3 years or going after a title. What you have in these collectives is you have a bunch of rich guys, alums, who are chipping in money to what is not a nonprofit. So there's no tax deduction generally, right? And so it's a passion play. Generally. Some of them are a little different. But it's a passion play for these guys, whether they're throwing in $10,000 or $100,000 or $1 million. After 3 years, if you're not winning, they're not seeing a return on the investment because their only return is winning, right? So there isn't the situation where this is going to last forever in terms of the same guy just delivering $1 million a year to the collective, unless you're winning.
Well, I don't know. Winning is the key here. I think donations to the athletic department, are probably, that's the piece that's going to be interesting to study is, the impact of collectives, because the same donor pool, let's face it. And so, there's probably some cannibalization of funding that's going on. And the schools that don't win are going to struggle to fund their collective, going forward if they don't have plans in place to cover during those windows. But let's be clear. I don't know that this is the route that we're going to see in 5 years. At some point in time, you've seen the study. Power 5, if you take scholarships and aid, the talent fee for a Power 5 football is 9% of total expenses. So your labor is 9%. Coaches, administrations, and severance is over 45%. So with all that said, we're going to get to a point where the athletes, especially for college football and likely college basketball, are some way going to be participating in the rights package, through a revenue share or some form of compensation. So where does the collective fit when that window happens? And that's the multi-billion-dollar question right now. It's coming, though. Athletes are going to continue to get paid, period. The athletes that are generating the revenue.
So when do you think it's 5 years when the college basketball and football player is getting a cut of the rights deals?
Well, NCAA is going all in right now with the trying to get the federal bill. So, they've, so I think this is going to move along really fast. And I'm thinking in 2 years, it's not going to look anything like it looks like now. There's just, the NCAA, which is made up of, obviously, its presidents with a 1950s mentality, they have not taken any steam off the kettle. And, and they're at a point now, through more and more antitrust litigation and where they're at, it's kind of this federal law, this petition for a federal bill is the last Hail Mary. And so if that doesn't happen in their favor, which it's unlikely to do, I think you're going to start seeing a lot of moves. And I don't know what those moves are or when they're going to happen, but it will not result in any form of the athlete at these revenue-producing sports not being compensated at the school level. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of how and when.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.